Welcome to Bridge the Atlantic. We are your hosts, music web designer Ross Barber, owner of Electric Kiwi, where we create awesome custom websites for bands, artists, and musicians.
And I'm award-winning alt-pop rock singer-songwriter and indie filmmaker Marcia Novelli, founder of the electronic rock band Midnight Soundtrack.
This week we're joined by London-born, San Francisco-based brother and sister duo, The Luck. Since relocating to the US, Max and Esmay have released 2 EPs and have performed at the Troubadour, the Viper Room, and also for Warner Brothers Pictures.
They are experienced buskers and recorded some intimate live video sessions with Grammy-award winning engineer David Bianco at Dave's Room. We're looking forward to hearing about their experiences of following the dream in a foreign country, the advice they'd offer to fellow musicians, and what they've got coming next. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
Hi.
Good, how are you?
I am well, thank you. Let's start off right away with asking you guys 3 things about yourselves that everyone should know, or particularly 3 things about The Luck that everyone should know.
I'd say passionate about food and music and art. That's probably the 3 things, but do you have anything else to add?
Beverages can be good too, but those are the main 3 things. Love making music and just kind of trying to give it to people.
I
Awesome.
like that, short and sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
How we like it. So you guys moved from London to San Francisco to pursue your music career. Was there any particular reason for the move?
Yeah, I mean, we met a bunch of people whilst we were performing in Europe, and they kept telling us to go to California just for our style of music and what we were doing. And then we were lucky enough to meet some people who said, we can stay with them. So we got visas. We won the songwriting competition in Nashville, and it really helped us get our visas last year. And then, we made the move, and it's been really cool.
Well, speaking of visas, that's something that we kind of wanted to ask them about. We actually haven't had someone on the show yet to explain the ins and outs of applying and qualifying for a visa. Do you want to maybe shed some light on that?
Yeah. Do you want to?
So you... there's some agencies that can help you. We use Tamisdat because they're great.
They're based in New York.
And as an artist, you kind of have to have a bit of an international renown, and you have to have, got a little bit of press about yourself and have a few people who can write references. And so we managed to fulfill those criteria, and then we won the songwriting competition in Nashville, which is an international songwriting competition. So it gave us the kind of the international. Yeah.
The other thing that you need to do is it's a bit tricky because the music industry tends to not work like this, but they like to see that you've had contracts for at least a year before you apply the visa, so they know that you've been going for that long. Often you don't sign contracts with venues, but that's something you've just got to try and do. And then you've also got to have shows lined up in America in contract form as well. So if you can get venues to do that, then you'll be well on your way. But Tamisdat are really great in terms of advising you. They basically act as your agent. Well, I don't know what the legal term is, but they represent you to America.
Is it like a sponsor?
And so you go through them. Yeah, they effectively are your sponsor, but because you are not going to have a venue being your sponsor.
Right.
So they act as your sponsor, and then you can book whatever you want, but they're the name on your visa, basically.
Right.
Ah, interesting, because I'm in Toronto, and actually it's incredibly easy for anyone from Canada to go out to the UK and vice versa, actually, because we're Commonwealth, so it works out. And it's also fairly easy for anyone from the States, at least I know, to come to Canada as a musician. I don't know about the UK, but it is incredibly challenging and difficult for a Canadian to go out to America as a musician. And I don't know if it's equivalent to anyone from the UK going out to America. I just know it's very challenging.
Just to add to that, I mean, we know bands that tried to travel without a visa and literally at the airport had all their guitars in England, and they went and they were asked, well, do you have a visa? And they said no, because they hadn't even thought about it.
So do you find that being British in the US is an advantage or a hindrance?
Neither. I think they're pretty used to British people being sort of hanging around, invading their country. So
especially in LA, you hear British accents all
there's
the
certain
time.
places that you can go to in West Hollywood. We played at the Sunset Marquee, and we sat at the bar for a little bit afterwards, and they were in.
Just
I felt like we
English
could have been
people.
in London, or
Different climate, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was really nice and everything, but I think there's a lot of Brits in LA, so I think they're kind of almost,
Maybe saturated.
not saturated, no, but
Used to it.
But
They're
yeah,
used to it.
they're definitely acclimatized to the British accent, piping up from the depths of the bar, asking for the finest.
So, what would you say? What are kind of the biggest cultural and maybe musical differences that you've noticed between the UK and maybe more specifically California?
California isn't very gritty, if that makes sense. It's just like big, open, wide spaces, and the sun's really hot. And like right now, it's like 95 degrees where we are. So that's about 38 degrees centigrade, I think. But my maths is not
But
like
it's
bang
very
on.
dry heat.
It's very dry heat, but it's hot, and you go everywhere, and it's hot, and you can play it. That's why we busk here. Like if we bust in England, we'd probably get rained off a lot. Whereas here, when we go down to the Pier 39 in San Francisco, 9 times out of 10, it's just great weather. There's no rain. Can be a bit foggy, but the climate is very much. It kind of seeps its way into the food and the culture
And the music as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. We've just written a song that we played to a couple of friends back home, and they just go, "This sounds like California." Like it's just, the riff is different, the sound of
That's
it.
funny.
So there's definitely an influence on the music as well. People don't like, the weather's the weather. The English people like to talk about the weather a lot as like an icebreaker. But it really
Canadians
does
as
affect,
well.
it really,
Oh, really?
does affect
Yeah.
you.
that must be a Commonwealth thing.
It must be.
Must be.
Well, speaking about busking, you guys are very experienced in that. How do you get people to listen?
You have to tell them to. So before you start,
turned it
you
up
have
really loud.
you have
You're being serious,
instruct-
yeah.
Yeah, no, you just have to instruct everyone at once we use a megaphone
Are you being
setup.
Are you being serious?
No, we're not.
No.
Oh, okay. I can
He
tell for a
sounds
minute
really
there.
serious, and I'm going, oh no, people are going to think this is true.
I'm like, oh, cool. We should try that.
Actually, that's probably another big difference. Is like I noticed the humor in California versus England. The humor in England is very, very, very dry,
Yes.
and in Canada too. Some of the funniest people that I've met on our travels have been Canadian and English, obviously, and Scottish. But
Yeah, we're known for our comedians here.
pardon me, no. And that's a major difference. Sorry, going back into the previous
What's
question.
the type of humor?
Yeah, the delivery, mainly. But
There's more sarcasm in England.
you do have to turn it up.
true.
It's true. If people can't hear you, then they can't hear your music. So you need to make sure that it's pumping out at a suitably
Well,
loud.
do it
besides that,
too
though, how do you get people to listen though? Is it just you play, hope that they listen, or are you like, do you get in their faces more? Like, what do you do?
I think you just
play. You
And
just set
if
up
you
and
go
play.
into your own world of your music and if you're convinced by it, that's what we do. We just get up and we play, and we love our songs, and we just do what we do as if we were in a normal venue.
Nice.
And you can't expect people to listen if you're not fully into it. But they do, and they respond to it, and they're some of the best shows to play.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like I
So-
tweeted out recently. How do you expect? Like, you can't expect anyone to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself, type thing. And
Yeah.
and passion is such a amazing conviction, right? It's so
Yeah.
attractive.
Well, and on the street, you have to, like you say, like stop people in their tracks, and that's one element of the performance that can do that.
I mean,
The volume level is also very much important.
Turn it up to 11.
Well, but then you run risk of power cuts. The things you don't think about until it happens. So just making sure your speakers and the wattage and everything doesn't blow.
But it's also got to do with the sound. And, we spent quite a lot of time trying to work out how to get the best sound out of the bass and stuff through the system that we're using. And we luckily picked up some cables from Monster, and we basically use a setup where the bass is going through, a Sansamp DI, so that it's really boosted and the signal's clear. And then we use a special stomp from a company in Wisconsin called Porchboard. And then we go through some various compressor, sustain, reverb, delay pedals that help kind of mold the sound into something that we can take anywhere with our system.
But it's portable. We use 3 pedals. We use the kick drum as a small thing. durable cables, the right system. It took a while to find everything, though.
Yeah,
it's trial and error.
Yeah, it's just a case of honing it. But in answer to the question, you just got to get up and give it everything that you've got. And when you sell your music, you have to put as much energy into it as if you were playing on a team for, in sport or whatever. And it is, it's sometimes, quite tiring. It gets.
Well, you can't play to the size of your audience. That's ridiculous. People who do that, I think, are just going to fail. If you have one person there or like thousands, you've got to give the same performance.
It is hard, though. It is
because the person watching it doesn't matter to them if they're alone in the audience or if there's thousands of people with them. They're still seeing a performance. Why should that change?
Well, exactly. Right? And what happens for us is we'll start playing, we'll give it everything, and then gradually more people will gather.
Well, because as soon as 10 people gather, more people gather.
Of course.
As long as you keep going, people keep staying, and then and buy CDs, and then.
Yeah.
Do you ever repeat songs because
yeah.
People are those people haven't heard it, so why not? Let's do the song again.
Yeah, no, we do the same set 3 times.
Great.
But every time you do it, you learn more about the songs, and It's kind of just also rehearsal, because the more you play those songs, the better they get, and the more you know them, and the more you know the bits that the audience responds to, and
which probably helps you hone your craft for a proper live show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's so funny. Someone actually asked me recently, because we have lots of buskers in Glasgow, lots of amazing buskers actually. Pretty much every time I walk down the street, I see a new busker, and I like that they've got their little signs in their guitar case with their Twitter and their Facebook, and I tweet them and I follow them, and it's great. But someone asked me, what's the point in busking? Why do they do it? And I was like, well, one, it's good practice. They're practicing, and they're also, people can hear them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you're advertising what you do with a sign and you've got CDs and stuff to sell, it's like you're potentially building a fan base right there. And you're, I guess you can talk to people as well in between songs. You can really get to know them. And I think it's a great thing. I've met lots of buskers and become really good friends with them. And I think you don't get that so much in a traditional kind of venue.
Totally.
Right. Yeah,
it's accessible.
I've got a question about permits. Do you have to register for a permit in Los Angeles? And also, Ross, I'm curious if you have to do that in Scotland at all.
LA, we had to buy a busking license, and I think it was $35
Well, we did
year.
Santa Monica.
That's great.
So you went to the Santa Monica office.
But you can't just rock up anywhere in LA. You have to be specifically within boundaries. And then San Francisco, we didn't actually get a permit as such, but we submitted our music for the Port Authority in San Francisco.
Well, and you have to have the right insurance as well.
Oh yeah, liability insurance.
Liability insurance to PIP.
You can't cover your back enough. It's kind of funny, but you just can't. You have to get all the right insurance to cover you for the right things, naming the right people as the also insured and stuff. It's just knowing what to do and how to do it that I think is the key. And then you can just get moving.
But that insurance is important. I mean, the amount of people that don't see your guitar case and kick it.
Sometimes, people will just accident,
fall.
and suddenly everything's going flying, and you need to make sure that you're all sort.
Permits over here, I think it's kind of a grey area. I think it varies from city to city. Here, I think they tend to be quite lenient as long as you're not disturbing anyone. So, as long as you keep the volume okay, you're not drowning out the sound of a shop, for example, or you're not blocking any entrances. I think they're generally okay, but I think to be safe, you probably should get a permit. But I know most people here don't.
Yeah, no, I remember there's different, in London, the different boroughs have different rules. So I think in Camden, you can do it. In Westminster, you can't. In Kensington and Chelsea, you can, but there's certain restrictions, like you say, if you're outside a shop, they can tell you to turn it down or move.
The thing is, in England, if you get arrested and you're English, it doesn't carry as much of an issue if you're arrested as an English person in America, and you might get deported, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
And I get the feeling that in England, the law is such that if you're creating noise pollution, they can tell you to turn it down.
They won't arrest you.
I'm not sure that they would arrest you straight away, whereas I don't know in America, because I don't know.
I
But you don't want to take
same
that.
in Canada. You'd never get
Yeah.
arrested for that unless you started fighting with the police officers or causing a real ruckus. They would just keep asking you to move. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to risk that because
No.
That's a big thing. Being deported, that's
Just not worth it.
no.
What sort of advice would you give to any musicians interested in pursuing their music career in a different country, particularly America?
Well, it's difficult.
Get insurance. Make sure you've got enough money to stay in a place for a bit.
Or
Try and
you can work legally doing it.
doing whatever you're doing. Make network as much as you can. I found that another major difference between America and England is it could be a person specific thing, but when you're playing music, often people will offer for you to come and stay with them. Someone did it the other day for San Diego. We were up in San Francisco and they said, if you come down to San Diego, let us know, you can stay with us. Whereas I can't imagine that happening as readily in the UK. So I guess the point is, make sure that you network or like chat with people or whatever you call it. Just be out there.
But be careful too.
Be open to opportunities. You've got to be careful. I mean, we're really lucky. Like,
they've got the Second Amendment here, so
but yeah, no, definitely doing that. I mean, we stay with people that we've met performing. That's literally, and we go from San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Newport. We've been going to Chicago. In Austin, we actually got an Airbnb, but ended up becoming really good friends with the girls there. And now they said we can stay with them whenever we're in Austin.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just, if you're genuine and like really just kind of honest about things.
And willing to kind of, just be... So
go with the flow.
We offered to play them a house show, and they ended up inviting sort of 50 or 60 people from the Austin University just because we just wanted to do something and
and we wanted to do something for them too.
Yeah.
And so, it was really cool.
Nice.
Are you guys ready for 20 questions?
Yeah.
Sure.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Meat or veggies?
Meat.
London or San Francisco?
San Francisco. That's such an unfair question. That's so specific. It's like, what time of year, what time of day? Never mind.
I can't even answer that.
Just
I'm
make it
gonna go
even.
for London.
There we go.
Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter.
Facebook.
Breaking Bad or Homeland?
Breaking Bad.
Homeland.
EastEnders or Coronation Street?
Coronation Street. Sorry, all the way.
Coronation Street.
Friends or Seinfeld?
Friends.
Seinfeld.
Cadbury's or Hershey's?
Cadbury's.
Well, okay,
Definitely.
that was
Hershey's
the right
sucks. Oh, Hershey's is the
I
worst.
I'll
know.
never get them for a sponsor.
We wouldn't want them for a sponsor, Matthew.
Indie or major?
Indie.
Without burning any
Indie.
bridges.
Big indie.
Canada or Scotland?
Never been to Canada.
Yeah, no, I want
But
to see...
Joni Mitchell's from Canada. That's my problem.
Well, I just want to...
No, go ahead.
I really want to see British Columbia. A lot of people have told me that I need to get to British Columbia to sort of...
But Scotland's beautiful.
Of course it is, but we've been there. We've never seen...
We actually came up with our band name in the Isle of Skye.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've actually never been to BC either.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not. Yeah, well, that's all the way out west, right? I've never been out there. I'm hoping to go there soon. I've heard the same things. Just beautiful.
We just assume that when you're in another country, you've obviously visited the entire country.
Well, put it this way. Canada's bigger. You can fit America and the UK in Canada. So put it that Canada's quite big.
Yeah.
It is
Quite big, yeah. So speaking of Joni Mitchell or Jim Morrison?
Jim Morrison.
Joni.
Jim Morrison forever.
Joni.
Pancakes or waffles?
Sure. I don't really eat the sweet stuff that much. Pancakes or, both.
Both.
Okay, so Donald Trump. Sorry, I got sick in my stomach saying that name. Or Alan Sugar.
Alan Sugar.
He did Amstrad, right? I'd probably go with him.
Yes.
He's done, Sugar.
Alan Sugar.
Plus, he's a
guy
geezer.
who's ridiculous.
He's a geezer.
I love Alan Sugar. He's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in case you didn't get that, Marcio, Donald Trump worked on The Apprentice in the US and Alan Sugar works on The Apprentice in the UK.
Oh, okay, I got that. I didn't get that.
I was trying to get some US versus UK.
Donald Trump is an embarrassment to America. But we'll just leave it at that.
Well, we're not going to get him as a sponsor.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry, it's me.
You're ruining the podcast, Ross.
Oh, I know. I'm breaking everything. Simon or Garfunkel?
Paul Simon.
Simon
Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
Jackson.
What? Haven't you seen those Lonely Island videos? I think Bolton. Just because he's got such an...
Lonely Island videos
got the
were some
power
of the
grab.
biggest hits of the past. Like,
I know,
love
he's
them.
like, but Lonely Island though. Like, Michael Jackson, sure, but Lonely Island.
They're both phenomenal
Billie
artists
Jean.
in their own right. I
In their
know.
own genre.
They are. But I do have a soft spot for the Bolt. Totally do.
He's retweeted us, so like we're like
Oh,
this now.
yeah.
We're like this.
Yeah, we're working on getting him on the show.
Yeah, like,
it's
for
going to
real.
happen. It's kind of like our long-term goal.
Yeah.
Bolt is going to be...
Make it a short-term goal.
Well, yeah, I like that. Or
Pull
medium
them up
term.
and just be like, can we do
Bro.
this tomorrow?
Just let's hang out. Let's just do this. Life's too short, man.
Twerk or work?
Twerk. Twerk. Like Miley Cyrus twerk.
I work.
Or work. Whatever.
Work? I think, yeah, probably.
Ricky
We're not
Gervais. What's that?
We're not really twerkers.
I do
Yeah.
it. I that's the only way I wake up in the morning. I got to twerk.
I
Don't
even
think
know what
about it.
is. It's jumping up and down, right?
No,
No.
it's like kind of like moving your ass.
Hey, I'll show you the video.
No,
Where have
go-
you been?
go watch- yeah.
Like
Where you
extreme
been the last
South
2 years? Where you been the last 2 years?
Don't say you don't use social media. 'cause you do.
I started following Miley Cyrus the other day, and it's a lot more kind of trippy than I had expected. Because the last thing I knew about Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, and it
That
was like
that was a long
You
time.
didn't.
ago.
You knew Party in the USA.
that was still kind of
That
cowboy
was her
boots
transition,
ass.
though.
That's a hit. I love that song.
Yeah,
So let's tie in a little bit of the UK and a little bit of America here with Ricky Gervais or Ricky Martin.
oh, Gervais.
Please and
Ricky
thank
Gervais.
you. Obviously, Ross used to not be a huge fan of Ricky Gervais, and he started watching the original Office, and he's not disliking Gervais as much. I love Gervais.
Yeah, I'm warming to him a little bit.
Warming up a little
Kind
bit.
of.
He's a riot.
He's like, a lot of his humor is kind
Very
of quite cringe, and I
Yeah.
find myself cringing to it. But I don't
But some
like Ricky
bits
Martin.
are-
Whale or kale?
Like Save the Whales versus Save the
Sure,
Kale?
it's kind of just like as a concept.
Yeah,
That's
we,
Ross
I'm gonna go
we
with
did.
whales.
Yeah,
Cool.
As in, I love whale. Like I love whales.
Undersea. I love yeah.
Yeah, I'm always
Yeah.
watching David Attenborough documentaries.
Yes.
Burrow.
Love it.
Sorry,
How do you
how do
say
you
it?
pronounce that,
I would say
Marcia?
Attenborough. That's how we would.
Attenborough.
Burra? Oh, okay.
Attenborough.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm Canadian.
I know.
But no, I
You're-
love I love his voice, and just like all those documentaries are just so. I watch it every night, usually with my oldest son, and it helps him fall asleep, just seeing all the animals. And now he's
really?
like, "Hey, Dad, is that a whale?" I'm like, "No, that's a seal." And he's only 3. It's like teaching him so
Aw.
much. It's amazing. I'm like, "How do you even know what a whale is?" So it's awesome. Thank you,
follow
David
him.
Attenborough. Is that how you say it? David Attenborough.
David Attenborough. David
David
Attenborough.
Attenborough.
Bruh.
Bruh.
David Attenborough.
Yeah. David
So-
Attenborough.
Bette Midler or the Riddler?
Well, you're a Batman fan. The Riddler's from Batman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I had to think about that.
I'm trying to remember
Is this a
what
tough
Bette
one?
Midler looks like.
The Riddler. Well, last time I remember the Riddler, Jim Carrey played him in like the 90s.
Let's go with
Yeah.
Bette Midler. She was legit.
I'm just going to go with the Riddler just because.
And finally, our last question, which is kind of cruel to our guests, but we kind of like being sadistic like that.
Wow.
Ross or Marcio?
Do we have
Who's
to
Mar-
choose?
Ross Marcio. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What did you do?
Yeah! Yes!
She's not the first guest that didn't know who the fuck
I know.
we were.
No, it's not
Ross and Marcy are just the people interviewing right now on
That
Virgin
was-
Atlantic.
Can I be honest? When you said Ross, I thought you were going to say Chandler.
Someone else had that thought, except
And I was
they.
like, what? And then
You
I was like,
could say
oh,
Monica.
Monica. What?
Look at the names on the...
I know their names. I've been emailing them for the past day.
Can I just say, when we're on
I'm a
stage...
bit
Probably my
slow
favorite answer so
I
far.
don't always get everything.
Guys, I'm sorry for Esmay. I apologize on
I
behalf of not
apologize
only
on behalf of
London,
myself.
California, and the luck.
it's
We
it's
seriously
okay.
accept your apology.
Yeah, I accept it.
I love it.
We love you.
Oh yeah, you still have to choose.
Oh my
You didn't
God.
get out of it.
You're
just
not
by
getting out of
pretending
it.
You didn't know who we were.
You can choose. Apparently, I can be trusted to
Well,
say
you can't
anything.
remember their names.
Of course I can.
Okay, which one is Ross and which one is Marcia?
Well, which one's Ross and which one's Marcia?
Marcia's on the left and that's Ross.
Right, there we go.
Okay,
Catch him out.
so
I'm loving it.
so anyway,
so
we
mean.
don't want to choose because you guys
Okay.
both seem very friendly, and to be honest with you, we might be performing in Scotland or Canada one day, and we don't want to rule out.
Ah,
This
so
is
that's
true.
the reason. Okay.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
We'll accept that. We'll revisit this after
We'll
your next
revisit this. Yes.
you know,
we'll
after
revisit
your
this.
next tour, and
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Oh my God.
Animation thing when Esmay makes that fuck up so that it's like just like giant like electric danger zone like
Ross and Marcia. Wah, wah, wah.
I apologize on behalf of myself and not on behalf of Max. Because Max is perfect.
It's okay. Sometimes Ross and I don't know who the fuck we are, so
Most days.
I'm still discovering myself, so it's all good, you know. So, what sort of to move past that awkwardness? What sort of music recommendations do you guys have? What are you listening to lately, collectively?
Collectively. Are you listening to James Bay?
Yep.
Both listening to James Bay.
James Bay.
Nice.
I love Hippocampus.
He does love.
I love them a lot. I also love Escondido. I discovered them the other day. I was recommended them by someone, and I'm surprised it took me this long to discover them, but they are amazing.
I actually don't mind when that happens, when you find an artist that's been around for a while, because then you have a whole back catalog to check out, and you're kind of like, yes, like 3 or 5 albums. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I actually go through a lot of the old catalogs as well, like just going through stuff like The Who, or even like Pearl Jam. Just keep discovering new songs, new albums.
Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon is worth a listen every month. It's kind of almost like medicine.
Oh wow, really?
I would, put it on headphones and stuff if you can, and just get some really good headphones and get a great quality recording and just
Yeah.
Do you guys do that? Do you guys listen to music through headphones or on your
Both.
iPhone laptop?
I've got like a
Both.
beautiful. I've got like my home studio here, so I've got really nice monitors here that'll listen to stuff, and then I'll listen on headphones and I'll listen in the car. But I'm still an album guy. I'll still listen from front to back and not do anything while I'm listening to an album.
wow.
But I think Ross and I will both still listen to music while we do work.
Oh yeah, no,
Except-
I have music on all day, every day. But yeah, I find I work best when I've got headphones on. So a lot of the time I'll put headphones on and I'll listen to something. But then sometimes I get distracted because I get so lost in something, and I'm just sitting there and I'll be looking up and like, this is great. Instead
You're
of
in a
working.
little world, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're blocking out everyone else.
Totally. And actually, I find that listening to stuff in the car as well. Really.
Well, so where can people find you guys online? What's your website?
TheLuckMusic.com is probably the best place to find us.
And you guys are
'Cause
consistent.
You can find everything from there.
Yeah, and you're consistent. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is all at or / the Luck Music,
Yes.
which is perfect. And I think everyone needs to go check these guys out. One day they will learn who we are. It's okay. At least 50% of them do. But yeah, you guys have been great. Now, I'm currently writing my next solo album as well as getting ready to release my side project, Midnight Soundtrack's debut album, Foreplay. So you can hear my music at marcianovelli.com, and make sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, which are all /marcianovelli.
And I'm working on tons of websites for various artists right now. You can check out my work and my blog posts at electrickiwi.co.uk. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Electric Kiwi, and on Facebook, I'm Electric Kiwi Design.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. This
Thank
has
you
been
for having us.
fantastic.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
And please do come back, all right?
We will.
Sure.
Awesome.
When you'll have us.
Yes.
Well, it
Rip
might,
me off, you can have Max.
it might be
No.
a while. I mean, we're going to need a bit of time to get over this, but
We're joking, by the way. We love you guys both, and it's been a true pleasure. It's been a true pleasure.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
thank you.
Thanks for watching Bridge the Atlantic. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe so that you don't miss each week's episode.
Click on the videos above us if you'd like to see more, and please feel free to leave us a comment letting us know what you think of the show.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes so that you can listen to us on the go. Thanks again for being awesome, and we'll see you on next week's episode.